Red Pill Relationships, number 30. Early Detection of Relational Aggression. Hello, hello. It's Red Pill Relationships yet again. And this is Tom Golden. I'm here with Paul Elam. And we're here to talk about using red pill wisdom in a blue pill relationship, what hopefully will become purple and then red. And last time, Paul, we talked about parental alienation.
Yep.
And it created quite a stir. And I don't know about you, but I got a lot of questions about how can you see that coming? How can you see that kind of parental alienation or the relational aggression? How can you see it coming? And it's really a critical question. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And, you know, it's so critical because relational aggression is not really seen by the culture. No one sees it. It's invisible, but it's not invisible to you when you get hit by it. And then you
Oh
go, oh,
no,
what
no,
the
it's
hell
very
just hit
visible.
me? But seriously, we teach women, if a guy even comes close to hitting you when you're first dating, run. You know, we teach them all about how to look for potential violence, how to, if you see it, what to do about it, how to get out fast, how to get safe. You know, all these web pages go, oh, here's safety. You click here for safety. It's like, you know, everything is focused on helping women stay safe from men's physical aggression. But today we're going to talk about helping men stay safe from women's relational aggression because it's a fairly unknown topic. People don't know much about it, and it really is hurtful. I mean, it will take you down, and
And
you
it
won't
is
even know what hit
to
you.
talk about because not only did we get questions about, spotting relational aggression early, but I've heard from men my whole adult life, my whole professional life, Tom, that same story every time. I never saw it coming.
Yep, yep,
I couldn't believe she did that.
exactly. How could she do that to me?
How
I
could
thought
she
we were
do it?
close.
And the thing is, though, that in those relationships, when you start picking through the bones of what happened, you find that stuff was there from the beginning.
Yes,
It was
exactly.
always there. We
It's
just,
easier to see in hindsight.
yeah.
That's true.
So the point of this discussion is maybe to help some guys out there spot this stuff before it starts doing damage.
And actually, Paul, that's a good point. You know, by looking back in hindsight and looking at what happened in relationships, it really will help you looking at the future, you know, just to see it coming.
If we
But
can
so,
just get men to do the one thing that feminists will not demand of women, look at their lives and take account for their decisions.
yes,
They can do that. They can spot this stuff and prevent all kinds. And we're not talking about, we say we qualify it as relational aggression, buddy, it's aggression. It's destructive,
it's really, it's evil,
horrific,
man. It's evil.
much worse than getting the crap beat out of you.
You know, the definition of evil by Scott Peck, you know, he said the same thing. He said, evil leaves chaos in its wake. And man, this relational aggression stuff leaves chaos in its wake in spades.
But,
Ugh.
and we're going to hammer this point in too, Sun Tzu said that out of chaos comes opportunity. If
Yes,
you have been
run.
through this, you can learn from it. You've got an
Yes,
opportunity to do different. So we're gonna talk about how you spot this stuff early. Some of it's funny, and some of it's not.
that's good. It'd be a break from last week when it wasn't funny at all, man. It was just
No,
so
it wasn't
sad.
funny at all.
Oh,
First things first, I guess what I want to throw into the mix here, Tom, is that a lot of times when we're looking at profoundly destructive kinds of relational aggression, we are talking about women who either have the traits of a personality disorder
yes,
or we're talking about a full-blown personality
correct,
disorder.
correct.
Some might say excessively female in this
Yes,
culture.
yes, pathologically female, and that's so important and critical for the whole relational aggression thing, is to see its connection with, you know, the axis two disorders, the borderlines, the narcissistic personality disorders, and people like that.
And there is a connection,
Oh boy, oh
big
boy.
time. So,
Yeah.
what
So
are
where do we
some of
start,
the
Paul?
early signs, Tom? What are the early signs? And I'm tempted to be snarky and say, is she female? Um,
Well, is she two yet?
and part of that would be true because relational aggression is the type of aggression that is instilled in women from early days. And they demonstrate a propensity for it as early as what, 1 or 2 years old?
2 years old, they found it.
Yeah.
Just like boys do too. I mean, boys have a propensity for pushing, you know,
Yes.
get out of my way, bitch. You know,
Yep.
this is my toy. And it's like, he'll push you. She will do something a little
She
different.
will tell mommy you punched her in the face,
Exactly.
and watch you get an ass whooping while she grabs the toy.
Paul, that's a nice synopsis of the whole deal right there.
Man, it is.
It's so true. Oh God, I'll never forget this research I saw where they had little boys and little girls. I think they were 1 to 2 years old, and they had a barrier, and they had mom on the other side of the barrier, and they watched one at a time what the boys would do, and all the boys would come up to the barrier and shake it and kick it and push it and ram into it. You get a running start and try and get over the damn, try and jump it. The little girls would sit down and cry.
Until somebody came and picked them up.
Exactly, and it would work, you know, probably
And
better than the.
guess which technique was more effective?
Yes, exactly right. Exactly right. But this stuff starts early, is the point. You know, this is
It
not
does start
something
early, and some of it is normal. I mean, it's not healthy, but it's normal. We
Yes,
typically expect to see, or more prone to see, relational aggression in women than men, and that is the norm for the human species, at least right now. It
yeah,
is.
yeah.
But there are some, I think, glaring signs that you might be stepping into the wrong territory. As I was discussing with Tom before we started here, if the girl you're seeing, if her place of employment is called the Pink Pussycat, you might want to watch out. Look, this is not, I'm not shaming women for making a living dancing. I think that's fine. I don't care how women make their living, makes no difference to me at all. But that doesn't change the fact that in that population of women, the concentration of addiction problems, personality disorders, all that stuff is highly concentrated.
Yes.
It is highly concentrated.
Yep.
So, like I said, if she works at the Pink Pussycat, and no, just waiting tables there doesn't make much of a difference. If you got to figure, if you're a woman and you look up at a street sign and it says a Pink Pussycat, and your first thought is, I'm gonna get me a job there. Well, that's probably not the kind of woman that you want.
Probably not. Probably
And
not.
they are prone to relational aggression,
Yes.
personality disorders, so much more. And to have extreme limits. I mean, they'll destroy your life.
And they know how to do it.
Yes, they do. So how else do you see this stuff early? Now, we're going to go way early, because my theory, Tom, is that you can spot this stuff many times before it ever happens.
Well, I think one of the critical pieces, Paula, is that you can look at her relationship with her own father. And is it good? If it's a good relationship with her father, you're probably on solid ground. Probably, not always. But you look at the relationship with her dad and see if A, does he treat her like she's wonderful and special? That's fine. And B, does he set limits? If you've got both of those, then you've probably got a woman who's learned how to live with men, who's learned how to live with her father, and therefore is going to have an easier time with you. Because you're going to do the same thing. You're going to say, oh, you're wonderful. And you're going to say, no, can't do that. And if she doesn't have practice with that, you're screwed. You're screwed, because there's a lot of people out there who, both fathers and mothers, have not been able to set those limits. And we know now, of course, that not having limits as a child creates a scenario where people lack compassion. And guess what? That compassion is for you. You know, if they haven't had limits set on them, they're going to take it out on you with a lack of compassion. You know, so the first thing look at it. What's that?
Many times is that you can tell a lot about a woman by telling her no to something.
Absolutely. That's one of the first things you got to do. You say, no, I really don't want to do that today.
Find something to not want to do.
See what happens.
And I know when you're early in a relationship, especially if you're very attracted to her, oh, she's hot, hot, hot. No, I'm not going to tell her no to anything. I'm going to keep saying yes to everything she wants. Buddy, You're digging your own grave.
Yes, you are.
Doing that.
And when you say no, See if she responds with, oh, okay, how about if we do X, Y, Z? That's fine. But don't stop there, because the relational aggression is not going to stop at the moment of infraction. It's going to come behind the back. It's going to come when you're least suspecting it. So keep your eye peeled for how she's going to respond to that no.
Yes, and if you say no and she says, fine. And and every guy has heard that fine sometime or another in his lives, and we all know what it is. It's a promise for retribution.
Exactly. I'm going to get your ass.
It's saying, I'm going to get you back for
Yeah,
this.
just you wait.
And let me tell you something. If
will.
you got a woman that says, I'm going to make you pay for saying no to me, and you continue the relationship, you deserve what you get.
Oh, get out of Dodge, guys.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Come on.
Get
If you can't
Dodge.
even say no to, how do you expect to be treated in a relationship where you don't even give yourself permission to say no to anything?
Yeah.
It's so much of this is on us.
Yes.
It really is.
But you look at the father first, and then, Paul, look at the relationship with the father and the daughter, but also look at the relationship with the father and the mother. Are they still together? Has he ever been divorced? Has she ever been divorced? Those are clues for you too.
Tom just whittled the pool down.
It's true. It's very true. But you can trust more. So a woman who has a good relationship with her dad, where he does set limits and he does care about her, and where he's in a relationship with a woman he's been with for a long time. That tells you a lot right there. That tells you a lot. What?
Go out a step further than that and say, if you find yourself a girl who comes from a family with a beloved patriarch at the head of things, you're in better territory.
Yes, you are. Yes, you most assuredly are.
Feminists will just screech about that. Doesn't mean it's not true.
The head of the patriarchy guy is not going to put up with bullshit. He's not going to put up with relational aggression. He's going to say, yeah, you go to your room. You're not acting like that.
Absolutely. And if the guy like that has the respect of the family, because see, you can't just, to be a real patriarch, in my mind, you can't just tell everybody what to do all the time and snap your fingers and get them to fetch for you and do stuff like that. A man who is in masculine leadership of a family thinks about the family.
Yes, exactly.
And he makes decisions accordingly in the best interest of the family. And if he's good at doing that, the family will come to feel safe in that and appreciate him for that. There you have an environment that might produce a really good woman.
Yes, exactly.
But if you ask her, tell me about your dad, and she says, which one?
What a prick.
Yeah. Or what a prick. Or yeah, I'll tell you about the bastard. What do you want to know? Guess who the next bastard is? You.
That's it. It's only a matter of time, guys, because here's one of the deals that you see with borderline, Paul, is this whole devaluing or overvaluing, going back and forth. And so that's another clue.
There is no gray area.
There's no gray. That's a clue for you. If you're dating someone and she sees you as the most wonderful thing in the entire world, you may be headed for rocky shores.
That is a scary proposition.
It's so addictive too.
Idiot. I used to get sucked in by women like,
me too. So easy.
And my ego was just, oh yeah, I'm the most wonderful. She thinks I'm great. And
they were hot.
And they were hot. And lo, I'm in heaven. And for some those relationships ended up in minor catastrophes in my life.
Yes. Yes.
And I learned, don't do that. If she is deifying you and putting you up on a pedestal, she's going to knock you down.
Yep.
And if you're on a first date and she says, oh, you're the most wonderful guy I've ever met, buddy, run like hell.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yep.
She doesn't know you.
Yep. Yep.
And it may be appealing to your ego.
Yes.
But she doesn't know you.
If that happens, the devaluation is on its way.
Yes, it is. The first time you say no.
Yeah, really. It may be before then.
Or that you looked a little too long at the waitress.
Exactly.
And
God,
buddy, you're going to be in trouble with that. But speaking of borderlines, Tom, one of the ways you avoid the relational aggression, the extreme destructive relational aggression from women is you avoid personality disorders. And those are easier to spot than just relational aggression.
Yes, I think
One
that's
hint
true.
for you, like I said, if she works at the Pink Pussycat, just assume she's BPD. Even if she's not, just assume she is and run. Because you're going to be right more than you're going to be wrong on that one. Another one is women, to me, and again, I think it was Valenti went after me for this one, women who are overly sexualized in the workplace. If you work in a law office and one of the secretaries there wears leopard skin boots and sweaters that look like they were spray painted on her, with the V-neck dropping down to the belly button,
right?
You got a problem waiting to happen. She got like fake eyelashes out to here.
Oh God!
Tons of makeup on. When normal business attire, normal business appearance would be the order of the day in an environment like that, the borderline will come in looking like a whore. They often do that. It doesn't mean that every woman in snakeskin boots is a borderline, and it doesn't mean that every woman in a business outfit isn't borderline. But generally, if you get a sense that, hey, this mode of dress in this environment isn't appropriate, that is a warning sign.
Yeah, it's overdone.
That is a woman that is capitalizing on her sexual power on people around her. Yes. When they come in, and especially a lot of times borderlines are good looking. They're very attractive.
Man, it's so true.
And they'll come in and they'll have the command of the office just with their appearance.
They know how to do it.
Man, if you're attracted to that, it's understandable. We're all attracted to that. I don't care who you are. You're going to look at that. You're going to have those nasty thoughts, those nasty, wonderful thoughts. But you're also probably dealing with somebody that can do a lot of destruction in your life.
Yes. Yeah.
Wouldn't do it.
Use caution. Use caution. So look for the way someone dresses. I think that's a good one, Paul.
Absolutely look for the way they dress and look for the way they conduct themselves. When I meet people, and it doesn't even matter if it's women, men, or whatever, I make a habit, start studying them. Look at how they interact.
Absolutely.
If I'm having lunch with a guy and he treats the wait staff like shit just because he can get away with it, I'm thinking this is a dick. I don't want to hang out with this guy.
Exactly.
And when I see a woman doing the same thing.
No matter what she looks like.
Yeah, no matter what she looks like. And that's a challenge, Tom. The sex drive in men is
powerful, so strong.
Powerful. It's
that's the bad news.
Indescribably powerful.
The good news, guys, is it gets lower as you get older.
It does do that. I will testify to that.
Oh, man.
You get very comfortable with it.
It's quite a relief, actually, you know.
But when you're 22?
What's that?
When you're 22?
Yeah, really. It's like.
and somebody's in your, hey, man, that girl's, you know, she's her nipples are poking out all over the office. That's a warning sign. And you're like, fuck no, that's not a warning sign. That's a sign to jump. So it's hard to reach guys at that age.
Yes.
When all the hormones are firing on all cylinders.
I don't know if anybody could have reached me at that age, Paul.
I don't know. I know nobody could have reached me at that. And that's precisely why the borderline path works so well for them.
Yes.
With younger men.
It's like the guy tying himself to the mast, you know, to not get eaten up by the sirens, you know. Who was that? Odysseus, was it?
Odysseus tied himself to resist the siren's call to survive it. And he did a great allegory there for what, you know, should be happening with younger men. They should feel that pull, that torturous. I mean, they had to tie him to the mast, and it was just like they had to pin him down so that there was nowhere to go, or he would have taken off.
Yep.
And that is how strong the impulse is in young men. But Odysseus is the lesson, is that if you're wise, if you're ever going to end up wise, and then you're not going to end up with child support on 3 children and false accusations and everything else that comes from relational aggression from women, if you're not going to end up there, you've got to be willing to tie yourself to the mast. You just have to do that.
Yeah, and find ways
I
to do
say
that.
that as a guy who couldn't do it.
Exactly. That's all right.
Yeah.
I also didn't have anybody telling me that, so it would have been helpful if someone had said something like that when I was 22, you know? So we're saying it now knowing that it may not have much impact, but hey, put it out there and see what happens.
That was one, I think, and I hope times are different now. I hope there's a different narrative around, because you're right. When I was 22, the only thing you would ever heard in response to a borderline woman is like, what are you waiting for?
Yeah, really.
You better
Yeah.
jump on that while you
That's
can.
it. She likes you, go for it.
And nobody was saying, wait a minute, there's trouble here.
No.
Nobody. So
Only your parents.
now, so I guess it's being extended. Whether anybody can listen to it, I don't know, Tom.
Yeah, well, indeed. You know, another thing that's typical for borderline, Paul, that is a tip-off for women who are having trouble is an obsession with not being abandoned. You know, so guys, be aware of that. Be aware of that sense that a woman is completely bonkers if you leave. You know, like you can't leave in the morning to go to your job or whatever without her. You know, when are you coming back? When will you be back? La 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 la. I mean, it's intense. You know.
What do you mean you have to check the mail? Why can't I go with you?
And this type of woman stays in fear of being left. She is sure you're going to dump her. She's sure you're going to dump her. So she does all kinds of things to make sure you do. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, she's right. Because if
exactly.
it's the woman you're going to want to run from, and she knows it.
Yes, but if she wasn't that way, it'd be easier to stay with her, Paul.
Yes.
You know, but you're right. She has no choice. She really doesn't have much choice.
But Tom, I've had borderlines in group therapy settings that got angry because I didn't sit next to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's another avenue of this abandonment thing.
Absolutely, and it is. Yeah. I mean, in a clinical setting, it's an opportunity for them to work and get some insight. But in real life, when somebody's threatened by your running to the store, like for a pack of cigarettes, like you're going to be the next story in millions of stories of a guy going for a pack of cigarettes and never coming back, they're convinced of this all the time. Everything you do is threatening to them. That's why they try to get in between you and your friends, in between you and family members, in between you and interests and hobbies, even in between you and your work, is because the moment everything isn't focused on them, they become hostile and their abandonment issues are triggered.
Yes.
It is a difficult path to navigate. And I have had guys ask me, how do I make her feel more secure? Nope.
You can't do it.
You need to make her feel less secure, like goodbye.
Even a really good therapist can't do it, even in a detached relationship over a fairly long period of time.
Nobody can do it.
Yeah,
and that little voice in your head, guys, that as long as you like her tits and ass, there's going to be this voice in your head saying, I can handle this, I can do this.
Yeah, I can do this.
Yeah, sure you can.
I'll just be a little nicer, and I'll give her this and I'll give her that, and then things will be all right. Bullshit! Ain't gonna work.
Ain't gonna work.
Ain't gonna freaking work, man. The other thing, Paul, men can look for is, does this woman gossip with her friends? Because gossip is like one of the underlying pieces of relational aggression. And see if she does gossip, who she gossips with, what she does with it. Does she use it to hurt people overtly? If she's using it to hurt people overtly, you can see that, man, it's definitely time to run. But, think about the gossip avenue, because that is a real tip-off to relational aggression.
And you want to get an assessment of her previous relationship life. Yes. What you find with personality disorders is a history of very intense interpersonal relationships that have a tendency to blow up, become very dramatic.
over and over again.
And if you ask the right questions, she'll tell you. Tell me about that guy. Oh, then tell me about the other guy and about the other guy. You'll eventually get the information. If she gets into relationships and they all seem to blow up after 90 days and turn into a fiasco, and with her with a long list of the previous bastards before you showed up, guess who the next bastard is?
You are.
Yep.
That's it.
And if you don't want to know about this, look, guys, I get it. If you just like, hey, I'm just jumping the bones here and I don't want to hear none of this stuff, I get it. But then I'm telling you, you're going to end up writing me and Tom down the road. Can you go for me any advice? My life is a wreck.
Yeah.
And she does, God, I'm not even attracted to her anymore. That's where guys end up.
That's it.
All attraction is temporary. Even
Yeah.
somebody you love, physical attraction tends to wane after years and years. And
yes.
it's a human deal. So you're going to have that. I don't care how hot she is. What's that old expression? Doesn't matter how hot she is, somebody somewhere's tired of putting up with her shit. And that's how it gets.
Oh, man, so true.
Or a temporary, intense physical bonding. Now, there is absolutely, and I think Tom and I would both agree, that there is different levels of love and connection that are possible in relationships that are only possible with time and with the fading of infatuation.
Yes, exactly.
To make room for those things.
Exactly.
But when you've got somebody that'll destroy you for checking the mail without asking them if they want to go, you're never going to get there.
Yeah.
With that person.
Yeah, man. We get close with people who are our partners, period. We do not get close with someone who's just hot.
Absolutely.
You know, that's a drawback after a while. But someone who can deal with you, who can have compassion for you, you can have compassion for them, who you can adjust with and work with, that's a partner. That's what you're looking for. And man, years of that create a bond that can't be even likened to being physically attracted to someone. It's much better. Much better.
Much better.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, all the way around. So, you know, I used to watch guys, my friends, who would marry women who were not very attractive. I used to think, what the fuck? Why would he do that, Paul? I understand now. I really do. He was smart. He was smart.
Well, one, it's smart.
He's still married.
Still married. And when you're, you know, there's that hot, crazy index. And there's something to that, you know, where the hotter they are, the tendency is the crazier they are. And to me, I don't know if it's really a hot, crazy index, but I think there is a hot entitlement index. That really, really super attractive women are absolutely used to having their asses kissed every step of the way.
There's no question about that, man. You can see it clear as a bell. Because everyone will kiss their ass immediately.
They're lined up to kiss her ass.
Exactly. They'll jump.
And so why would you pick somebody to spend a lifetime with who is accustomed to having men lined up around the corner just to kiss her ass for no other reasons? Thank you. I'm done now. I've kissed your ass. Now I can die a happy man. This is what she's used to. And I do think there's probably a connection between physical attractiveness and the propensity for relational aggression.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. That's been my experience. Whether it's true or not, it's hard to tell.
Yeah,
you know, the other thing that's interesting,
ever study that.
The research actually says that relational aggression between men and women becomes more equal as we get older. But that's not been my experience at all. You know, my experience is that men don't pull that kind of crap, and women do. You know?
No, men's flaw many times, Tom, my experience is that men behave without relational aggression, and then they're shocked when it's returned with relational aggression because they're used to other men. So you treat me, I treat you fair. It's like, you know, you're going to watch out for each other.
Yes.
You have to work at making that type of relationship happen with a woman, usually by overcoming her social programming.
Yeah.
It's just not, It's not something that happens naturally with women, I don't think.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And any women watching this, if you think I'm wrong, please put something in the comments. Change my mind
Yeah, yeah, really.
about it. But my experience with women is the more attractive ones that I've been with were the more entitled ones, almost every time.
How could they not be, Paul? How could they not be? I mean, if everyone tried to treat me in a way like that all the time, I'd get used to it.
Sure.
I'd get used
Man,
to
I
it. I'd
tell you
think, well,
what,
that's the
if
way people
women were lined up with their purses open around the corner saying, take my money and fuck me.
Yeah, that's motivating.
Yes, that would
Yeah.
be a motivating factor. Of course, I'd end up in terrible straits
Oh boy.
following that. But I get what Tom's saying.
I I don't think that we as men have any concept at all of what it's like to be a woman. The
nope.
idea that people want to do things for you just because of the way you look. It's like guys are just, it's beat into them that people want to be with you because of what you do for them. You know, what you do, what you act, how you give, how you do whatever. And I don't think really, I've tried before to just imagine what it would be like. It's almost impossible to imagine what it would be like. I mean, it's really crazy to think about it, you know,
I
because
can't. I still can't wrap my head around
yeah,
it.
we're just not built like that. I mean, we're
Nope.
built in a way that is really hierarchical and trying to strive and be up as high as we can and to stay independent and to do. And that's what brings us up higher. And she knows that what brings her up higher is getting hotter and hotter and hotter.
It's take, take, take. The more that her physical appearance can command material goods and services from men around her, the higher her status as a woman.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point.
And it is very, very hard to compete with that. So this is where the guys in the audience who are MGTOW will be saying, well, no problem for me.
Yeah,
MGTOW
really.
for life. I don't
And
have to
they're
deal with
right.
this stuff. And they're absolutely right.
And they're right.
It is a questionable choice, especially in this day and age, to try to navigate this stuff and to make something work.
Man. And to make matters worse, the culture is now encouraging women to be relationally aggressive, basically. I mean, they're encouraging them to be haughty and arrogant and to think
Oh,
that
you
everything's
go,
about
girl.
them. It's like they should have it all and men shouldn't have it all because they've had it all so long. It's like, what? We're
What
we're
has he done for you lately?
we're pumping that into women. And how could it not create someone who was haughty and arrogant? Wow.
Um, it, we started out talking about relational aggression, and we still are, because these women who have had their egos pumped up by
Oh,
lines of obsequious, spineless men saying, please, can I get next to you? I'll do anything, I'll say anything, just let me know what you want.
yeah,
We create monsters that way.
yeah, yeah.
And monsters have a propensity for aggression
Yes.
when they don't get what they want, when they feel dissatisfied. And let's face it, nobody who is raised and socialized under the rules that the world kisses their ass and tells them how pretty they are and never challenges anything they think, say, or do, that is a recipe for disaster
It
for a
really
culture.
is. It really is.
And we've done it. And
And
men
that's what we're
have
looking
done
at.
this.
That is what we're looking at.
Yep.
You know,
And
it's
so
like,
if you could just say one no, you'll be doing something for mankind.
yes. I mean, we talk all the time about how, men are um, the problem and men are this and that, but rarely are we able to focus on women and their difficulties like relational aggression and gossip and things like that. The other thing we didn't talk about, Paul, was impulsivity. It's another tip off.
Drugs, alcohol,
Yeah.
impulsive spending,
Yes.
impulsive outbursts of emotion,
Yep.
being what we
Those are
call
all signs that,
labile. Yeah.
this could be trouble.
Yeah.
And
If her mood swings are extreme, sudden, unpredictable,
especially if it swings more than once a month.
And no, you can't fix that. So get that stupid thought out of your head. Never fix that.
You can fix it by getting the hell out of Dodge.
You know when her moods will settle down? When she's fucking 70. In the meantime, she is who she is.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, guys are running around, what do I do to make her this and make her that? Guys, that is the wrong path in life. If you're asking yourself, what do I do to make her happy? Or what do I do to make her at least peaceful?
Oh, God. I did a video one time, Paul, with two trans men. We'll put a link to it below. But one of the things the guy said, I think this was in the video. I hope it was. Anyway, what the guy said was, you know, how many days a month was I not moody when I was a woman? And he said, he started listing them. You know, it was 3 or 4 days because of my period, la, 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 la. And he got down, he said, maybe 1 or 2 days a month I wasn't nutty. Interesting.
It's funny how honest the honesty you get from the trans community about this stuff too.
Yes, yes, and yes.
Where was my male privilege? I mean, now I got there as a man. I'm supposed to have some privilege, and you know, I should be able to walk into a bank and get a loan without a credit check.
Yeah,
that's
really.
how we treat men in this culture. But yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. So if you have a woman that is going through extreme mood swings and she's relationally aggressive, suggest to her maybe a sexual reassignment. You want to even out her moods. Otherwise, I'm sorry, you're not getting there.
Oh God, Paul.
Lines.
That's probably a good place to stop.
Yeah. Just remember one thing. We used to have a running joke.
Oh shit.
In my work about borderlines.
Uh-oh.
Would say when they weren't around is they say, what's a treatment plan? There isn't one. The treatment plan is ignore them. That's from mental health professionals I worked with for 30 years.
The dark humor reigns.
Yeah. It ought to tell you something.
God. Ignore them, he says. Anyway, if you're not married, you can ignore them and get the hell out of Dodge, man. And some of the things we're talking about today, please take those to heart and, make sure, that you're safe, because this is a rocky world out there. It's crazy, man. Relationships are crazy.
Get
Paul,
yourself
should we
a
stop?
good one, guys.
What?
I just said, get yourself a good one, guys.
Yeah, really. Or don't get one at all. One or the other.
Don't get one and all. But
yeah, that's okay. It's really okay.
We ended up on the sad note we always do, Tom.
I know, man. Gynocentrism is just everywhere.
It is what
that's
it
all right.
is.
We got Barney back there, so what the hell?
And we got red pills.
Yeah, we got red pills. That's it. All right.
Next
week.
Guys.
It's good to see you. Y'all take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.